A lot of drama in D.C. Still here with DeAngelo Hall, 3-13 this past season. You were part of that after a 10-6 campaign last season. We heard about the RG3 situation. He got benched. Mike Shanahan got fired. How much drama actually was in the locker room? How much hate was in the locker room?
You know what? It really wasn't any hate in the locker room. I think this is my first time seeing all of that. I was just commenting on it like, man, all that took place. So, as a player, you kind of get lost in, all of that. You really don't pay attention to it. You kind of tune it out, try to win football games. Mike Shanahan, as a coach, love him to death. When he first got to Washington, it was a point where me and him really didn't see eye to eye on some things. And, it wasn't necessarily because of me or because of him. It was just the lines of communication weren't really open. And so until we really sat down and got face-to-face and started talking, that's when the problems got kind of hashed out.
All right, so that was your relationship with him, but everybody talked about the relationship between RG3 and Mike Shanahan. Just what was that relationship? How good or how bad was it? Keep it real.
I'm always keeping it real.
Okay,
I mean, I wasn't in meetings with them one-on-one, so I don't know what was said one-on-one or in their offensive meetings. But as when you see them together with the team, I mean, it didn't seem like a bad situation at all. It wasn't until obviously we saw that RG got benched for Kurt to protect RG, so they say. And then it wasn't until RG really spoke about it, saying that I don't think Mike likes me and things like that. That we in the locker room really started to notice it.
You played on a bunch of different teams. You've never had a situation. I've never seen a situation like that. From the outside looking in, it looks completely dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Did it have that feel of dysfunction during the year?
It really didn't get that feel until obviously the word came down that we were going to bench RG for the last couple games to protect him. A lot of guys, in that locker room kind of raised the question like, why are we doing this? Kind of like, what you heard Kyle say. I want my starting quarterback out there. A lot of the players in the locker room were kind of, those were their sentiments. And it was on me, London, and a lot of other leaders in that locker room to say, look, we can't worry about things that we can't change. That came from the top down. There's nothing we can do about that. All we can do is go out there, keep fighting, keep trying to go out there and get a win. And, that's what we, tried to do.
DeAngelo, you've competed against the great quarterbacks, championship quarterbacks in this league. You've been around a guy like Matt Ryan. Do you feel like Robert has what it takes both on the field and then the leadership qualities to become a championship quarterback?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I think so. From the first day that kid came into that locker room, all he wanted to do was impress us, try to prove to us that he would do anything to help us win football games. It was never about him. It obviously seems like it's about him because, he's the face. I was on the team in Atlanta where Michael Vick was that face of the franchise. And, back when he was rolling, I mean, it was no bigger star in the world than him. I can remember going to Tokyo for a preseason game, and it was Peyton Manning and Mike got more attention than Peyton. So, I've been around that. So, I'm familiar with that kind of circus. And, I mean, it's the same kind of atmosphere in Washington, especially when you come off a 10-6 season where you're winning. He's hurt. He wants to be all in for week one, and that whole kind of campaign kind of gets thrown out of whack. Was he ready? Probably not. But are you going to tell the best guy on your team, the leader of your offense, look, we're going to hold you out. We're all trying to win football games, and that's ultimately what it came down to.
All right, quickly, RG3 will be back next year. You're a free agent. What's the likelihood that you're back in Washington?
It's a good chance. It's a good chance. I'm obviously waiting to kind of figure out what's going to go on, obviously, with the coaching search. I've talked to Bruce Allen a couple times. I've talked to a couple other coaches that were retained on staff. And, I love Washington. I'm from the Virginia area, went to Virginia Tech. Washington will always have a place in my heart whether I play there or not. So I'm definitely always looking at the news and just trying to figure out what's going on up there, just trying to see what coach they bring in and see what direction they're going to go in as a team. But if the opportunity presented itself, what I want to play there, absolutely.
I wish I had a bubble over your head to say, "Hey, me."